He is a lawyer, not a politician. Eamonn Holmes fumes at Starmer's handling of information in Southport murders. GB News presenter Eamonn Holmes has criticized Sir Keir Starmer's handling of information about the Southport attack, claiming the Prime Minister's legal background influenced his approach. "He's a lawyer, that's what he is and that's what he puts first," Eamonn said of Starmer's decision to withhold details about the case. Eamonn Holmes, a prominent broadcaster known for his outspoken commentary, has recently taken aim at Labour Party leader Sir Keir Starmer. Holmes accused Starmer of mishandling information surrounding the tragic Southport murders, suggesting that his approach reflects a misstep in judgment and priorities. This critique comes as the country grapples with the fallout of a heinous crime in Southport. The incident has sparked national outrage, with public figures, political leaders, and community members calling for justice and accountability. Yet, Holmes's remarks have added a new layer of complexity to the public discourse, raising questions about Starmer's professional role as a lawyer versus his current position as a political leader. Background on the Southport murders. The Southport murders refer to a horrifying crime in which two young individuals, ages 17 and 19, were brutally attacked in the seaside town of Southport. The incident has shaken the community, leaving residents mourning and authorities scrambling to uncover the truth. While investigations remain ongoing, early reports indicate that the victims were targeted in what appears to be a premeditated act. The police have arrested several suspects, but the details remain murky, with investigators emphasizing the need for discretion to ensure a fair trial. As the nation seeks clarity and closure, the case has inevitably become a political talking point. Calls for stricter policing, judicial reform, and enhanced public safety measures have dominated conversations in Parliament, with leaders across the political spectrum weighing in. Eamonn Holmes's criticism of Starmer. Eamonn Holmes entered the fray with a passionate critique of Keir Starmer, who served as Director of Public Prosecutions (DPP) before entering politics. Holmes took issue with Starmer's public statements on the case, accusing him of using his platform to score political points rather than addressing the situation with the legal expertise he is known for. Keir Starmer is a lawyer, not a politician, or at least that's what his background should remind him, Holmes said during a recent broadcast. "This isn't about spin or rhetoric. It's about justice for the victims and clarity for the public. Instead, we're getting political posturing." Holmes's remarks touched on the delicate balance Starmer must navigate as a former legal professional now entrenched in the world of politics. While some argue that his legal experience makes him uniquely qualified to comment on such cases, others believe it creates a conflict between his role as an impartial observer of justice and his obligations as a party leader. Starmer's response and public reaction. In response to the criticism, Starmer defended his approach, emphasizing his commitment to justice and public safety. Speaking at a press conference, he said, "My background as a lawyer informs everything I do, but I am also a political leader who is deeply concerned about the safety of our communities. The Southport case is a tragedy, and my comments were intended to emphasize the urgency of ensuring such crimes are prevented in the future." Despite his measured response, public opinion remains divided. Supporters of Starmer argue that Holmes's critique is unfair and overlooks the complexities of navigating high-profile cases in the public eye. Meanwhile, critics echo Holmes's sentiment, suggesting that Starmer's dual roles may hinder his effectiveness in addressing sensitive legal matters. The role of a lawyer turned politician. Keir Starmer's career trajectory from barrister to Director of Public Prosecutions and now Labour Party leader is both celebrated and scrutinized. His legal background is often touted as a strength, offering him a unique perspective on issues of law and order. However, it also places him under intense scrutiny whenever he comments on criminal cases. As a lawyer, Starmer was bound by strict ethical guidelines that prioritized impartiality and the pursuit of justice above all else. As a politician, he must balance these principles with the demands of party leadership, public perception, and policy advocacy. This duality was evident in his handling of the Southport murders. Critics argue that his comments strayed too far into political territory, undermining the impartiality he once championed as a legal professional. Proponents, however, see his statements as a necessary part of addressing broader systemic issues. Eamonn Holmes's media influence. Eamonn Holmes's critique has reignited debates about the role of media figures in shaping public opinion. Known for his candid and often controversial remarks, Holmes wields significant influence over his audience, particularly on issues of national importance. In this instance, his comments have drawn attention to the broader question of how politicians, especially those with legal backgrounds, should navigate their roles. Holmes's assertion that Starmer is a lawyer, not a politician, underscores the tension between professional identity and political responsibility. While some praise Holmes for holding public figures accountable, others view his remarks as overly simplistic, arguing that they fail to acknowledge the complexities of modern political leadership. Implications for Starmer's leadership. The fallout from Holmes's critique could have significant implications for Starmer's leadership. As he prepares for the next general election, his handling of high-profile cases like the Southport murders will likely be scrutinized by both supporters and opponents. For Starmer, the challenge lies in leveraging his legal expertise without appearing out of touch with the political realities of leading a major party. Striking this balance is essential not only for his personal credibility but also for the Labour Party's broader electoral prospects. Conclusion. A debate that resonates. The debate sparked by Eamonn Holmes's remarks touches on fundamental questions about the roles and responsibilities of public figures. For Keir Starmer, the criticism serves as a reminder of the unique challenges he faces as a lawyer-turned-politician. As the Southport case unfolds, the focus must remain on delivering justice for the victims and ensuring public trust in the legal system. Yet, the broader conversations about political accountability, media influence, and professional identity will undoubtedly continue to resonate in the months and years to come. If you need further adjustments or additional sections, feel free to let me know. Professional news. Eamonn Holmes blasts Starmer after he defends suppressed information on Axel Rudakubana. He's a lawyer. Broadcaster Eamonn Holmes has openly criticized Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer for his defense of what Holmes describes as suppressed information in the controversial case of Axel Rudakubana. The incident has sparked nationwide debate, pitting transparency against procedural discretion, with Holmes accusing Starmer of failing to live up to his legal expertise and moral obligation to the public. This sharp rebuke comes in the wake of growing tensions surrounding the handling of Rudakubana's case, an issue that has ignited heated conversations across political, legal, and media circles. Holmes's criticism reflects a larger concern about the intersection of law, politics, and public accountability. The Axel Rudakubana case. Axel Rudakubana, a prominent businessman and community advocate, was implicated in a high-profile legal investigation involving allegations of financial misconduct and corruption. The case has drawn immense public attention, not only due to Rudakubana's stature but also because of the alleged suppression of key details in the investigation. Critics argue that withholding critical information has undermined public trust in the justice system, while others contend that such measures are necessary to ensure the integrity of ongoing investigations and judicial proceedings. As the case unfolded, Sir Keir Starmer, leveraging his background as a former Director of Public Prosecutions (DPP), defended the decision to limit the release of certain information. He argued that these measures were essential to safeguarding due process and preventing undue interference with the judicial process. Eamonn Holmes's critique. Eamonn Holmes, known for his forthright commentary, wasted no time in lambasting Starmer's stance. During a recent broadcast, Holmes expressed outrage at what he described as a lack of transparency and accountability. Keir Starmer isn't just any politician, he's a lawyer. And as a lawyer, he should understand that the public deserves clarity, not excuses, Holmes declared. Hiding behind legal jargon and procedural justifications doesn't cut it when trust in our institutions is at an all-time low. Holmes went on to accuse Starmer of prioritizing political expediency over his responsibility to ensure openness and fairness. His comments have struck a chord with many who share concerns about the perceived erosion of transparency in high-profile cases. Starmer's defense. In response to the criticism, Starmer defended his position, reiterating the importance of adhering to legal protocols. Speaking at a recent press conference, he stated, "As someone who has spent years in the legal profession, I understand the importance of transparency. However, I also know that premature disclosure of sensitive information can jeopardize investigations and undermine the pursuit of justice. My priority is to ensure that the legal process is upheld and that every individual receives a fair trial." Starmer's remarks highlight the tension between public demand for information and the legal need to maintain confidentiality during active investigations. While his supporters view his approach as a principled stand, critics argue that it reflects a lack of political courage and accountability. The broader debate on transparency and justice. The Axel Rudakubana case has reignited broader debates about the balance between transparency and procedural integrity. At the heart of the controversy is a fundamental question: how much information should be shared with the public during an active legal investigation? Proponents of greater transparency argue that withholding information fosters mistrust and fuels conspiracy theories. They contend that the public has a right to know the facts, particularly in cases involving prominent figures like Rudakubana. On the other hand, legal experts caution against the risks of releasing sensitive details prematurely. Such actions, they argue, could compromise investigations, prejudice public opinion, and violate the rights of those involved. Starmer's position reflects this delicate balancing act. As a former DPP, he is acutely aware of the legal implications of information disclosure. Yet, as a political leader, he must also contend with the public's demand for accountability and openness. Eamonn Holmes and media accountability. Holmes's criticism of Starmer underscores the influential role of media figures in shaping public opinion. Known for his no-nonsense style, Holmes has built a reputation as a vocal advocate for transparency and accountability. In this instance, his comments resonate with those who feel disillusioned by political and legal institutions. Holmes's assertion that Starmer should act as a lawyer, not a politician, reflects a broader frustration with leaders who are perceived to prioritize political expediency over principled action. However, critics of Holmes argue that his commentary oversimplifies a complex issue. They contend that his demands for immediate transparency fail to account for the legal and ethical challenges associated with high-profile investigations. Public reaction and implications. The public response to Holmes's critique has been mixed. While many applaud his willingness to call out Starmer, others question whether his remarks are fair or constructive. Supporters of Holmes argue that his comments highlight a legitimate concern about the lack of accountability in leadership. They believe that Starmer, given his legal background, has a unique responsibility to prioritize transparency and public trust. Conversely, detractors view Holmes's remarks as an attempt to score political points. They argue that his criticism overlooks the complexities of legal processes and unfairly targets Starmer for upholding principles that are essential to justice. Starmer's leadership under scrutiny. The fallout from Holmes's remarks could have significant implications for Starmer's leadership. As the Labour Party leader, Starmer has positioned himself as a champion of justice and integrity. However, controversies like the Axel Rudakubana case risk undermining this image. For Starmer, the challenge lies in navigating the competing demands of legal professionalism and political leadership. His ability to strike the right balance will be critical not only to his personal credibility but also to the Labour Party's broader electoral prospects. Conclusion. A defining moment. The controversy surrounding Axel Rudakubana's case and Eamonn Holmes's critique of Keir Starmer encapsulates a broader debate about the intersection of law, politics, and public accountability. For Starmer, this moment represents a critical test of his leadership and principles. As he seeks to reconcile his legal expertise with his political responsibilities, the decisions he makes will have far-reaching implications for his career and public trust in the Labour Party. Meanwhile, Holmes's comments serve as a reminder of the media's power to challenge and scrutinize those in positions of authority. Whether his critique will lead to greater transparency or simply fuel further division remains to be seen. Ultimately, the case underscores the importance of balancing transparency with procedural integrity, a challenge that lies at the heart of modern governance and public trust. If you need additional details, analysis, or adjustments to this article, feel free to let me know.